Now, I may be a fat, petty asshole. And I don't know if Proctor's just doing that bad, if I'm doing that good. But he's streaming with 30. I'm streaming with 14. It was just so fucking funny because I remember when Proctor first started doing all the VTuber streaming and stuff, he was like, 100 or something. And now it's just like, okay, I got so much fucking news. Fuck, why there's so much shit going on this weekend. Holy fuck. Window. Click. Click. Brave. Kotaku owners, Jiho Media reportedly backed down from fully shifting site from news to guides after editor-in-chief resigns, staff pulled back. So last time I mentioned on Kotaku, the editor stepped down. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. But it kind of looks like the other, shall we say, useful employees, big air quotes on that one, have decided to rebel against management. And it looks like for a time, their shit pieces are having Kotaku go down in flames. Are going to be around for a while. I imagine not that long. Probably squish myself a bit. Squish, squish, corner. Squish, corner. Okay. Yeah, so pretty much a couple of people have stuck around in Kotaku are kind of doing a victory lap saying, yay, it's like, he's like, we have risen from the ashes of having to actually do work and do game guides. And we can continue to do our hit pieces against people from Brazil, I guess. I think it's be a general sentiment from this article. But you and I both know that they're kind of just on borrowed time. Because, it's Kotaku. And the parent company is pissing money left, right, and center. And absolutely worth nothing, no matter how many times they try to sell it. So I don't imagine the second wind for these guys going to last too long. I'm taking okay, I'm gonna reopen that tab. It's taking everything I have not to pull a war ski. Be like, can we hit it? Okay, you're starting to get numbers up now too. Yeah, mommy and daddy are fighting. In response to sequels' lack of profits, Blizzard completely scraps Overwatch 2 PvE plans. Now, for those of you that don't pay attention to Overwatch, like me, but I heard, I remember when Overwatch 2 was coming out, and their big selling point was the PvE aspect, that they were, that was the main selling point, because they were going to close down everything from Overwatch 1 and have everyone transfer over to Overwatch 2, and the selling point was the PvE thing. And now that goes completely out the window. So what was the fucking point? Oh, that's right. They were trying to Jew you out of money. That's exactly what they were doing, because they are fucking Activision Blizzard. And I said before, and I'll say it again, Blizzard died a long, long, long time ago. So, yeah, that's pretty much all it comes down to it. What the bullshit you were sold? Well, tough shit. Why anyone would give Blizzard money in the year of our Lord 2024, or even 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019? Let's just say they've been down here for a long time now. If you got Jude out of money from giving it to Blizzard, well, that's kind of on you at this point, because they have a track record. And that's not, and this isn't even getting into, I wasn't able to find an article about this, but the long story short is that Blizzard's updated their terms of service, and then use their license agreement to pretty much you don't own anything, and if you don't say yes, you can't log into your account to turn off shit or say no, which is greater horseshit. Fucking Louis Rossman just put out a video the other day about that. And I'm really not surprised because, again, it's Blizzard. It's Blizzard. They suck. They're gay. Fucking gay. Gay is the bomb. Okay, moving on to Dark Park Place because holy fuck, there's so much going on right now. IGN writer Isaac D. Colbert claims that Star Wars fans hate black people after the Acolyte trailer receives massive dislikes. For those of you who don't know, the Acolyte is the next failed attempt to shoot some life into the Star Wars franchise. And the long story short of the plot synopsis is that, and I quote, "The Sith did nothing wrong." And why is making this hate black people nonsense? Because I think the main character is like black or something, and I think one of the writers is black. You know, there you go. So if you can't make anything worthwhile, and it does bad, and what are these people always going to do? Misogyny, sexism, racism, it's like, fucking get a piece of talent, you stupid piece of shit. You have to remember, George Lucas didn't kill Star Wars. These motherfuckers did. The mouse did. IGN writer Isaac D. Colbert took a swing at Star Wars fans claiming to hate black people following the Acolyte trailer, seeing massive amount of dislikes upon its release. And just a reminder, YouTube doesn't have dislikes anymore. You have to have an extension for that. And even then, the dislikes are so massive, even if you have to put an extension, they're still there. And it's kind of funny because Disney reported, like, and I quote, Disney reported, like, our Acolyte trailer has so much engagement. Yes. Although some down. Engagement, yes. Positive engagement, no. But the algorithm does not care. All the algorithm cares about is the engagement, whether it's good or bad. A new Star Wars show. Yeesh. That is correct. Like a girl. Yeah, I think the main girl is supposed to be like either like a Jedi, like what's the word I'm looking for? Reject or something, and she's all like, these Sith have a good idea kind of thing, and that's largely going to be her plot line. And no one really cares. Because one, it's going to be written as shit, and two, it's Disney. Like, I remember, Lord, forgive me for saying this, but the prequel trilogy kind of already did this in making the point of, maybe the Sith have a point. There's too many Jedi. Maybe you'll thin the herd a little bit and stuff. Like the prequel trilogy kind of already talked on this. And I think it's supposed to take place during like the height of the Republic. So it's just like, I just don't really care enough because, again, Star Wars was never really my thing. But I can understand how, like, a diehard fan, to this day, after everything has happened, I don't know, but they still exist. And kind of feels bad, man. Feels bad. But long story short, this asshole is just like, it's like, well, if you don't like it, you're racist. Same thing. It's like second verse, same as the first. There's going to be a few of those, trust me. Continuing on with Acolyte. Okay. Social media analysis discovers a vast blue check effort to boost Star Wars The Acolyte through possible botting. I'm not surprised. You shouldn't be surprised. None of us should be surprised that the fucking mouse is botting their own shit to, fake the engagement, as it were. So this is pretty much just going over the receipts and like the receipts and the speculation and all that stuff. But just see, I would any of us really be surprised? It's like no, they wouldn't bat that. It's like fuck off. Of course they would. They're fucking Disney. They're Disney and they're hemorrhaging money left, right, and center right now. Of course, they're going to fucking pad the numbers out with bots. So that's that. Okay, so I mentioned this the other day about this Flintlock Cedar Dawn getting added to the Sweet Baby Incorporated boycott list, and Caprios Rambo did reach out to these guys saying like, okay, you said that they're not there anymore, and you changed you undid their changes. Can I see them? And they said no, and he's like, well, proof's in the pudding. And of course, they're still pissing and moaning about, like they had a chance. They had a chance to, show the goods and be like, act in good faith. And of course they didn't, because they didn't do fucking shit. And Kepler Interactive Senior Operations and Growth Manager Lizzie Kane rages after Flintlock Cedar Dawn added to the boycott list. Blah, blah, blah. She has a really funny line here that made me laugh. Let me just find it. This is just, the preamble in the beginning is just reviewing the blacklist, Grum's hot takes on it. Get into new stuff. Okay, so I get into what she actually said on the Twatters. She tweeted on the Twatters, absolutely fucking, I wouldn't even know what kind of accent to do for, absolutely feeling, vibrating off the fucking plane of reality. Please, do us all a favor. Don't let us stop you. This past week, pseudo-journalism, that is the far-right GG, why is there an asterisk on that one, are taking is so vile. Incredible to see in real time and closer to home how Grooms, she fucking censored his name, classy, is and how damaging he and his weird troop are. Oh, you mean actual game developers and actual gamers who actually care about the actual gaming industry and video games? The real people? And the ones with the money? Reason why you have a job? So, yeah. And just reviewing everything we covered up until now with the Sweet Baby Incorporated nonsense. But again, I've been saying this since day one. This is effectively Gamergate 2 in that you're seeing all roughly the same kind of people, same tactics. And I swear to God, I called it like day one. They are going to circle the wagons, and they are continuing to circle the wagons on this shit because it's all they know. And they're not bringing anything new to a table, so why should I when it comes to the jokes? Oh, fuck. So fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. I should probably piped up. I've been words. Yesterday I kind of messed around with the audio settings. Everything should be fine and stuff. I need some feedback. I haven't seen anyone complain yet, so, and I'm going into the green and yellow, so I think I'm fine. Mostly it's the volume thing from the chatting screen. Everything should be good now. Let's see, what was that? Okay, I talked about how the Pokemon Company had a piece of shit SJW for like their head lawyer guy not too long ago, and it looks like this guy, this SJW lawyer guy that the Pokemon Company has like on staff, seems to have the ability to throw his weight around, because the Pokemon Company doubles down on wokeness with job listing for Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Social Responsibility. literally the shit that Larry Fink is walking away from. They're still doubling down on it. Oh my god, it's so fucking retarded. I just love it. Pokemon Company double down on their embrace of wokeness with a job listing for their location in Bellevue, Washington for Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Social Responsibility. Job listing appears to share the position's role to discriminate. Role is to discriminate in hiring practices, business as usual for, DEI, SEG, alphabet soup nonsense. It's okay when they do it because they have a D beside their name. The job separately reads, the Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Social Responsibility facilitates and promotes the Pokemon Company International's global culture of innovation, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Yeah, see how far this flies in fucking Japan, you round-eyed gaijin. We're partnering with this year. I'm going to go with this year. Team to build diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh my god, they just freaking... Why make an acronym for it if you're just going to keep on expanding the acronym? Fuck. Initiatives and programs to influence employee engagement, talent acquisition, talent management, charitable community engagement, and marketplace opportunities across our global team to engage and retain talent, foster relationships, and local and global communities. AKA, no one gives a fuck because no one plays the goddamn... It's like no one... I know Pokemon, the video games, are an all-time high as far as sales go, but the quality is so shit and stuff that's not going to last forever. And, even, the Pokemon, card game, no one plays it. All people do is collect it. So it's like, What kind of gets me is the position is paying between $178,000 and $211,850,000 for new hires, an upward ceiling of $267,000. It's like, fuck. I wish I made that kind of money, but then again, it's in California. No, it's not in California. It's in Washington State. So, okay. Washington State is effectively California at this point. Let's not kid ourselves. So, that's probably a one-bedroom apartment in Seattle. And then talks about the guy I mentioned in the beginning who's throwing his weight around. Oh god. Okay, so I did remember this when it happened. Familia Pokemon is described by Pokemon companies. Bienvenidos. We are a group of Latinx Hispanic employees who are united by experiences, food, language, and so many aspects of our culture. We come together as a familia, which means family in Spanish. Door to explore. Taught me that there, Chief. And Portuguese, and our purpose is conflating Spanish and Portuguese together. Yes. That is cultural blindness there. Yeah. Let's just conflate these two languages as one unified thing. And our purpose is to foster professional development of our members and interactive entertainment industry, as well as facilitate recruitment and retention of our talent while promoting awareness and inclusion of Latinx and Hispanic community and culture. Oh my god. And the next one's even... I'm just reading the next two verbatim because this shit doesn't stop. The Pokemon Black Diaspora description reads, we are a Pokemon Black Diaspora employee resource group. Our aim is to aim in the creation of inclusive company culture by providing a supportive and uplifting community for Black employees through TPCI. We'll achieve this through education, community development, recruitment, engagement with folks. Where are the dads in this? Inside and outside the office, we want to create a place where every Black employee has a space where they can collaborate, relax, and empower each other through their daily lives, Black excellence, and Black representation. Taking my breath away. Okay, and this one's the peak. It's chef kiss. Rainbow Gym states, welcome to Rainbow Gym, TPCI's official employee resource group on the mission to celebrate Alphabet Soup employees. In addition to creating a safe place for queer folk and allies, we provide helpful resources to allow for open discussions and internal support with the understanding and intersectionalities of the larger community. The Rainbow Gym works with leaders and departments to promote inclusion at all levels, including initiatives related to engagement, talent acquisition, professional development, and community building. Oh God, I forgot. It also has the women one. Okay, okay, one more. Oh no, it also has parents too. Oh fuck, I can't stop. These things are just like, oh my God. Women in Pokemon reads, Women in Pokemon, WXP, is committed to empowering LTCP, P, I can't, I can't anymore. Employees who identify as women. Note how not just be women, identify as women. And non-binary people. And people with marginalized genders. So anything but women. WXP will partner widely with blood groups and cohorts to identify and promote equity. Specifically, WXP strives to achieve equity in development recruitment strategies, retention, and network opportunities for all people with marginalized genders at TPCI. WXP's focus is to identify and help activate areas that will provide increased internal support for employees while serving. Oh my God. Mary Flex is rebelling against all this bullshit. As a helpful resource in fostering a sense of safety for a WXP constituency. I talk English. Okay. And the parent one. We can't forget the parents. As long as it doesn't involve education or choice of education, it's like we need to think about the parents. Will someone think about the parents? TPCI Parents reads at the TPCI Parents ERG. We're building off the love for children and family exemplified by the Pokemon brand in order to empower parents to thrive both at work and at home. Parenthood is an ever-loving journey that intersects all aspects of life and comes in many shapes. This group recognizes the improving support for parents within TPCI. We will attract and retain talent and improve employee engagement among those who identify as parents. You keep using that word. This will be done through advancing company-focused initiatives such as advancing resources and benefits while providing speaking and coaching. We will also promote networking initiatives and community of support. And it goes on for another couple of things. But, again, all of this bullshit. And I love how this article also reminds us, because I remember when this happened. So Niantic, the guys who make Pokemon Go, are also hardcore SJWs themselves, and they donated a bunch of money to all the usual alphabet soup organizations, Black Lives Matter and all that jazz and stuff. So it's just like from top to bottom, no matter where you go in the Pokemon Company, as far as the international branches of the Pokemon Company and stuff, it is all woke as shit. And I have a feeling, much like anime translations, the powers that be back in Japan have no idea any of this is going on, and this is going to come back and bite a lot of people in the ass down the road. Mark my words on this. But I've been out of Pokemon for years at this point, so they can burn in hell for all I care. Long live Power World. Oh, fuck you, Danny. Not again. Okay. Back this cunt. Marvel's Black Panther developer Danny Laranda's attempts to explain her race-based hiring discrimination against white people. I keep having to try to keep these people, sorted out in my mental Rolodex, because they all do the same racist bullshit stuff of like, oh, we're not going to hire, straight white Christian men, because, down with the patriarchy and down with mighty whitey, as it goes. So, former Sweet Baby Incorporated employee and current developer from Marvel's Black Panther, Danny Launders, claims she did not discriminate against white people. Bullshit. While developing her game, Validate, despite previously claiming she did. So, again, we covered this before and went over the receipts of her, saying during the development and like conferences and talks and shit and stuff of like, she wants to make much like Sweet Baby Incorporated and all the other ones we covered, like Go Black Girl or whatever the fuck the other one was called. They're all doing the same thing of like, bragging about it at the time and then dialing it back when they get called out on it. It's like, they're not sorry. They're sorry they got caught being a bunch of loudmouthed retards. It goes over the example from the presentation we went over a while back. In the presentation, Lauder states, Validate has a team of all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment, and I know the best way for the environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me. Yeah, you know also that the KKK. You fucking racist pieces of shit. And just going on, and then okay, these are all tweets. All tweets. Yeah, but no, those ones. I think there's more new ones later. Okay, yeah. So in this year Twitter thread is where she's walking it back and saying like this video is a bit outdated. It's like, is it though? Is it though, sweetie? Is it though? And trying to blackwash, I guess, her previous statement of record. But we all know where she stands. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, for fuck's sakes, look at this one. Microaggressions can be committed by anyone towards anyone else in the workplace. But in that context of what I was talking about, I had fears of certain treatment toward my marginalized workers in the workplace. I wanted my team to feel safe while working on Validate. Oh, you are such a sweetheart. Committing felonies by having discriminatory hiring practices. Oh, you're just nothing but hurt, honey. And going on about some of her other work, and she's still, she's just digging straight down to China at this point with all this sheer shit. Like, again, this is like a very big case of sorry, not sorry. All of this to say, I am sorry if I made you upset in any way with the contents of this video. I hope this explanation clears things up. Have a nice day, everyone. Fuck off, you cunt. You racist, sexist cunt. Just fuck off. Don't matter if you're tagged when you're born and seen unique identifiers. Yeah, true. Okay, we're swinging back to Kotaku. What is Mark Kern saying in this one here? Mark Kern warns that Kotaku and GA Media that they're operating themselves up to lawsuits as editor Alyssa Mercante attempts to dig up dirt on Melanie Mac. Okay, let's see. This is why. Okay, Kotaku senior editor chief Alyssa Mercante interviewing Melanie Mac. Let's see. Power vacuum. Okay, yeah. So since the editor in chief left, there's a power vacuum. This here chick comes in, throwing her way around. Like what we covered in the first article, saying that they're going back to all their slander hit pieces as opposed to being commanded by the upper management to write fucking guides. And let's see. Yeah, the fact that the leadership wanted to aggressively pivot what Kotaku does in the midst of a harassment campaign. You mean you're getting your shit kicked in? Levied against me and the Cypher original piece of reporting that was the second most read story over the week telling mama. And I kind of like how Grams points it out. It's like, it's the highest rated piece, but no one's telling the upper brass why it's a highly read and hit piece, because it in and of itself is a hit piece. And it's pissing off a lot your core customer base, much like Gamergate 1, but, history repeats itself because these motherfuckers just never learn. Yeah. Now also assembly gotten Kotaku approval for not just one hit piece, but a slew of them targeting any prominent gaming personality or YouTuber. If she can get enough traffic, might be able to save her job and get an EIC position rapidly favoring Kotaku. Yep. So any news is good news as far as these chuckle fucks are concerned at this point. Yeah, and I do agree with Kern on this one here, in that all of their slander pieces against gamers does because it is slander, and it does open themselves up to legal recourse, much like remember like the the football fan kid, like him and his family sued Deadspin, and like Deadspin pretty much fired everyone, and the lawsuit's still going through. So, it's like slander people at your own risk until it hits your pocketbook, which it probably really will. Let's be honest. Oh yeah, he goes over this example specifically. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot that Deadspin was part of GeoMedia. GeoMedia recently sold off Deadspin to Line Up Publishing, laid off the entire staff. Ian Spanfeller, CEO of GeoMedia, announced the decision in an email earlier this month, and we covered that when it happened. Yeah, this is just reviewing the blackface lawsuit and hullabaloo. We covered that already. So, yeah, it just never ends. It just never fucking ends. Oh no, I remember this one. Okay, this one's fun. Xbox head of gaming for everyone and sustainability, Kathy Jo Wright, confirms company is committed to financial suicide. If you don't intentionally include, you will unintentionally exclude. So this is one of the popes, the chosen clergy that have elected to hand out the flavor aid and cyanide, especially when it comes to Xbox's bottom line. And much like a bunch of other companies right now, Microsoft ain't doing that great. So, interesting strategy, Colton. Let's see how it plays out. Xbox head of gaming for everyone sustainability. I can't believe that's a fucking thing. Kathy Jo Wright announced the company will follow the Marvel Studios footsteps by embracing inclusion. Right away, the company will be copying what Marvel Studios has been doing to the Marvel Cinematic Universe for over past half decade. In an interview with the games industry to promote the company's Gaming for Everyone product inclusion framework. Oh my God, it's a thing. That was internally launched in 2019, now being made public. Guess when was that made public? I swear I heard about it like a while ago. I swear. Someone must have leaked the initial thing. The framework was created by Rights Gaming for Everyone team that was created in 2015. Funny timing, that one. Specifically, Wright detailed the purpose of the entire framework. If you don't intentionally include, you will unintentionally exclude. That is how we are as human beings. There is no shame in that. If you want to include, you have to be intentional about that. Yes, go all the way. Interestingly, this comment is similar to what BlackRock CEO Larry Fink said during an appearance in the New York Times Deal with Bank in 2017. Fink said, "You have to force." This is very important. Not a lot of people know that Larry Fink is largely behind a lot of this here shit and stuff, and this was kind of like the shot heard around the world kind of thing. Larry Fink said, "You have to force behaviors, and if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted. And that's not just recruiting, it's development, as Ken said." When asked how he plans to force change, Fink said it has to be imbued in the culture of a firm, it has to be talked about, it has to be shown. Everything's sexist, everything's racist, and you have to point it out to everyone. Oh, where have we heard this one before? Behaviors across the entire firm and entire regions have to be similar, and every citizen of the firm has to understand what is acceptable behaviors and what are unacceptable behaviors. And of course, the funny part of all this here, what was the end result of the noble experiment on Wall Street? According to Reuters, Fink reported in January 2023 that BlackRock lost $4 billion due to its embrace of environmental, social, and governance investing in the United States. In fact, by June 2023, Fink said he was going to stop using the term ESG. We covered that at that time. I don't use that word ESG anymore because it's been entirely weaponized by the far left and weaponized by the far right. It's almost like everyone's unified against you. Funny that. And just going on and on. Stuff we already covered before. Yada, 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 yada. Going over examples of Marvel being complete and utter shit. Such as the Marvels. Guardians of the Galaxy was okay, but meh. Getting better. Okay, getting back to Microsoft. Okay, yeah, I like this point. This shows you how good. This shows you how very good the Xbox brand is doing right now. As the bold strategy for Xbox, given Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer admitted in an interview to the Wall Street Journal back in 2022 that the company was selling its Xbox XS consoles at a loss of up to $200 per sale and hoped they could recover the loss through Game Pass subscriptions and digital sales to the Xbox Store. Spencer said consoles are actually sold at a loss on the market, so when somebody goes and then buys an Xbox at a local retailer, we're subsidizing that purchase somewhere between $100 and $200 with the expectation that we will recoup that investment over time through accessory sales and the storefront. And from the values I've seen recently, that's not really working out for them. But, you know, it couldn't happen to a bunch of nicer guys. Let's just say that. Okay. Good point of reference. 57. What is the Mong doing right now? Damn it. Yes, I'm doing a pissing contest with the gay LARPing leprechaun. Oh my god, they're still going. Gearbox narrative director and lead writer in Borderlands 3, Sam Winkler, decries gamers as bigots and parrots Sweet Baby Incorporated's false narrative. This should not come as a surprise. I've covered this guy before. This guy is an SJW piece of shit. And ruined Borderlands because I don't think I played anything since the second game. Let's see, Sam Winkler, narrative director, Gearbox, and lead writer in Borderlands 3, and Tiny Tina's Wonderland chose to pair Sweet Baby Incorporated's false narrative about gamers while decrying them as bigots. I would like the record show I am not bigoted. I hate all of you assholes equally. Especially this one. Fuck him. And fuck the danger hair too. As you know, don't fuck the danger hair. We don't want them breeding. Winkler posts on next to a screenshot that reads, a good narrative writer of any skin color can write a good character with another skin character without needing consultants. If your studio can't do that, get a better writer. Oh, I'm sorry. You fuckers made up the rule that you have to be black to write black and white to write white and Asian to write Asian. This was your rules, motherfucker. How many fucking... I swear to God, if these people didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. This is like fucking infuriating. He then commented on the writings. I see this argument all the time against DEI and consultancy. And it just highlights the total misunderstanding it was being a good writer is you don't somehow max out your stats and learn how to write every conceivable character plot or profile. No, but you can if you're a good writer. If you can't, you're a shit writer. There, I cracked the code. Where's my Pulitzer Prize? What's it? Maxi posted, no, you can't, aren't ready or aren't right person to write something is one of the chief skills of pro writer. You have something you don't have. Ideally, you have to have a team that can cover all your bases, but if you have a gap in your heart and you hire an outside expert, like literally any fucking other industry, yeah, let's just all hire consulting writers from Sweet Baby Incorporated who completely tank everything they touch. Yeah, good business. Good business acumen there, buddy. Going swimmingly for you fuckers these days, I swear to God. He included his photo of Kills and Gamers being bigots. He wrote just further evidence of 99.99 that the people spewing this shit have never created a single thing in their lives they're proud of, and the rest are just straight up bigots. America. Just more posts and bullshit and going over the no, fuck, what were they going over? Yeah, and just reviewing the founder of Sweet Baby Incorporated, Dave Moran's word vomit and this year's shit. We covered already. I love you, that Park Place, but we retread so much stuff. And he's just pissing and moaning to the ether about like, oh, it's like woe is me. It's like all the bigots are making my feelings, my fifis hurt. It's like, oh, cupcake, fuck off, just fuck right off. Oh my God. Okay, Nelson Peltz slams this. Okay, I like this one. I forget where I read it first, but then it came up in Park Place again, so it's like, I may as well talk about it. Nelson Peltz slams Disney for being woke. Why do I have to have a Marvel that's all one? Nelson Peltz, founding partner of Tran Fund Management, which is one of the larger fund management firms in America. You don't hear about them much, but they are one of the big ones. Who is currently engaged in a proxy battle with the Walt Disney Company, based, to obtain 2 seats of the company's board, one for himself and one for former Disney Chief Financial Officer Jay Rasulo. Slammed the Walt Disney Company and specifically Marvel for being woke. Let's get into it, because Grandpa has a point. In an interview with Financial Times, it's probably right, it was a Financial Times first time. An interview with the Financial Times, Peltz told the outlet's Harriet Agnew, people go to watch a movie or show to be entertained. They don't go to get a message. Agreed. He then specifically took aim at Marvel Studios' current business model of representation that has resulted in some major box office disasters such as the Marvels. He said, why do I have to have a Marvel that's all women? Not that I have anything against women, but why do I have to do that? He also questioned why can't I have Marvels that are both? Why do I need an all-black cast? Good point. Bouts of criticism are not unheard of. Even Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, I've heard the Red Letter Media guys pronounce his name enough times, I should know it by now. Feige has indicated that the studio has lost its way with identity politics and pushing of woke ideologies. Feige informed the movie business podcast Jason Squire that Marvel's secret to success was, and I guess to distill it down to what lessons are learned, is to entertain the audience at every turn. What a shock. And he just goes on and on. He wax philosophical about how he's having fun at Marvel and how it's all sunshine and butterflies. But then Peltz, pretty much Peltz goes on of just like, actually, I'm gonna read this here because it's actually very, very poignant to the overall. I want to say ESG, DI, all this nonsense and stuff, especially when it comes to finances. This is actually really important. Not only did Peltz take issue with Marvel's embrace of identity politics and its pretense to push woke ideology, he criticized the company for engaging in political activities and used Ben and Jerry's recent statement calling for a ceasefire in Gaza as an example. You got to get these politics out of the boardroom, he said. Ben and Jerry's job is to sell ice cream, not to make political statements. And these people use anything for a soapbox that they have no right to. Peltz continued, I have my own feelings about the ceasefire. Israel has got to get a few things squared away before they get the ceasefire because what happened to them was despicable. Given his opinion and his nose, I have a feeling where his loyalties lie, but then again, he's in the finance industry, so it's kind of trying to fish a barrel at this point. Ben also shared the advised Unilever British conglomerate that owns Ben & Jerry's, Dove's, Hellman's, and Axe, among others, to continue to do business in Russia despite the war in Ukraine. He said, I told Unilever not to pull out, and so far they've listened. If we pull out of Russia, they take our brands for themselves. I don't think that's a good trade. I agree. But it's also known that Procter & Gamble and Colgate-Palmolive also didn't pull out. Why the hell should we? We're competing on the world stage with these products. And it's kind of funny because as a response to this little interview thing, as reported by Don, I'm not going to pronounce that name, a writer, a Disney spokesman responded to Peltz' comment saying, this is exactly why Nelson Peltz shouldn't be anywhere near a creative driven company. Oh, you mean he's one of the investors of keeping your sorry-ass company afloat? Maybe you should start listening to Grandpa there. I think he has an idea what he's talking about when it comes to rubbing two shekels together and making a third. You dumb cunts. Ragging on Marvel, ragging on Loki. So, one big, pretty much the main point where I want to focus on here is when the Jews are threatening to pull out their money, or they get angry about people fucking with their ability to make money, you're going to get a situation like what happened with the Ivy League schools in that you don't piss off the kikes, or else you're going to lose your money. Simple as. So when Grandpa Schickelstein says, "Smarten the fuck up," you better pull up your bootstraps there, son. But is Disney going to do this? No. Fuck no. Disney is all in on their retardation. So. Oh god, this one. Unleash Games founder and CEO Irina Perry brags about excluding white male characters from alpha build of upcoming game Haven. So this is another one of those cunts who has elected to be a racist, sexist bigot. Do what you say. Project onto your enemies of what you yourself are doing. Many such cases. Unleash Game founder and CEO Irina bragged about excluding white male characters from the company's upcoming game Haven. In a now-deleted post to X, Pereira wrote, "Just wait until they notice that none of our starting characters in the alpha build are white males. None out of 6. Yes." She added, "Had at it. Again, I'll say representation matters." Really, though? But really. And I don't know how many games have lacked female characters or created gameplay penalties of being a female character or created a vertex shading on a white skin to represent people of color games should represent. In another post, she also wrote, "Representation matters. Inclusivity is not the same as racism." Bull fucking shit. It is literal verbatim racism. You cunt. Enjoy hating on me for today. I'll go back to making games. Now you're going to make failures. You don't make games, you make failures. In response to her original post on the thread, Priya wrote, "Concerning the 95% of the video game characters are white and male." I wonder what. "And poor representation and diversity of actual players." Citation needed. "I thought it would be a fun experiment. We started with all female characters." In a post, the still public attempted to defend her racism and sexism. Alpha build demo characters, release, but details don't matter, only outrage. Motherfucker, you started this shit. It's like, shovel shit over the wall, and suddenly everyone who outnumbers you with their own shovels of shit throws it back at you. Many such cases. So it's like time is a flat circle at this point. And another post, she claimed that we will have fully featured character created and released bullfucking shit, where you can configure your character to look like you or anything you like. In the meantime, our alpha characters are static meshes for the sake of our deep focus on gameplay first. Gotta find fun, then add features. Fuck off, you cunt. You would have said that from the beginning, but you didn't. You could have said it was just all, like mesh and stuff, but no, you had to say it's like, no, you like, go back, it's just like, no, it's like no white males. Right off the bat. It's like, fucking cunt. That's it. And okay, this is a classic move that we've seen a million times. In another post, she told one gamer not to play her game based on his username. She wrote, I would want someone who refers to themselves as shit man playing our game, checks notes, nope, so please don't. Look at us, doing great things before 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's just like, really class act, that one. Not only would Priya double down on the racism, sexism, but also face criticism for publicly claiming 2 women sharing an oh god, I gotta prepare myself. This is fucking stupid. 2 women sharing intimate stories while getting our periods in the Game Developers Conference 24 merch store is the state of the game industry. This is what a game dev looks like. When asked if her original post was a parody, she made it clear it was not. Fully serious. It's nice to have other women in this industry and to be vulnerable and real with them in a way that we can't be with the majority of devs. This GDC was the most female powered of any in my past GDCs. I am 100% here for this. It's like, oh yes, let's just talk about being on the rag at a fucking conference. Yes. Business conference. Talk about being on the rag. Professionalism, ladies and gentlemen. There is not. In response to one critic, are women not allowed to have conversation about uniquely female biological functions? Well, do you identify as female? Hello. It's not like we turn it into a game, but maybe we should. Oh, please do. Oh, please do. I just want to see you get absolutely destroyed and lose money. They continue to use your sex as a shield. People make video games. People sometimes talk about human things. Shocking, I know. Making video games over 25 years with predominantly male co-workers, it was a notable moment that has now somehow sparked a lot of male rage. No, let's go. You are a fucking cunt. Don't lose sight of the goal. You are, in fact, a cunt. Oh, God. It just never ends. Okay, last Park Place one. I haven't really super talked about X-Men 97 because it's been one giant shit show, but I do have love for the 90s X-Men cartoon. But again, most comic anything wasn't never really my thing, even as a kid and stuff. But it was a good show. But to see it go through the progressive lens or stack or whatever the fuck, the progressive wash, it's kind of a crying shame. X-Men 97 Morph voice actor confirms he's a radical queer activist who could fucking foreseen this one coming, and admits the show is trying to normalize disordered sexuality. Of course it is. X-Men 97 voice actor J.P. Carliak? J.P. Cunt, who voices Morph, confirms he's a radical queer activist and admitted the show is trying to normalize disordered sexuality. And of course, this is the one where they give Storm danger hair, I just noticed. Of course. Of course I did. In Empire Magazine's April 2024 magazine, the outlet's Helen O'Hara detailed that Morph was non-binary as part of the interview with now fired showrunner Bill DeMeo. I do remember talking about him being fired. Drawing a blank over why. Yeah, probably usual shit. She wrote, the death of shapeshifter Morph in the original anime series didn't stick, obviously, was shocking for young viewers and stuck with DeMeo. DeMeo then added he really set the stakes and he had a very interesting relationship with the team because of trauma. The uncle do no touch. And is that why you're genderqueer? Okay, then this is like a later take on the character who is non-binary and has an interesting buddy relationship with Wolverine. The character's past with Mr. Sinister Show's villain could also come into play. I can't get over. I'm sorry. I just can't turn away from Storm's Vegeta haircut. I mean, for fuck's sake, the Vegeta haircut. She's like black female Vegeta. What the fuck? Yeah, I previously introduced Morph at the San Diego Comic-Con back in 2022, saying Morph decided to show a little bit of a different side of themselves this season. We're going to go with change in look. DeMeo made it clear to use themselves rather than refer to him as a male. Because, of course, in an interview with comic book readers, Sam Stone about X-Men 97, Kirk was asked about the backlash towards Marvel Animation describing the character as non-binary in the lead up to the series. He answers, no, laughs. I'm a queer activist. I run a nonprofit advocate for queer representation. I also co-founded the voter registration organization. Why? I know what's going on in the world. Well, I have to ask why. He's a fucking gay-ass commie. I know what's going on in the world, especially politically, so no, it doesn't surprise me at all. Laughs. I think I've appreciated how much counter backlash there was. Oh, really? Well, people like, have you watched X-Men? Are you familiar with why they're created and why they're on about? Yes. It's always been about bigotry. That's the most operandi of X-Men. That's been their whole point since day one. Long before any of us have been born. You're not exactly reinventing the wheel there, kid. I kind of like the detailed. I haven't really taken offense with anything anyone's published as much as they've tried. There was one article that called me a radical queer activist. Yes, because you called yourself that, so. As the insidious message and statement of my organization forbidden was on the website. It was like, Fox, no eyes here, thanks for your promotion, laughs. I got that haircut, oh fuck. I just can't let it go. I just can't. Ballard and Carla confirmed he's radical queer activist. He also shared how the show is trying to normalize his activism. When he asked about Morph's pronouns, he said two things about that. One, as far as I know, they're never going to say the word non-binary because nobody said the word non-binary in the 90s. Thank fucking God. We just called you a faggot in the 90s. It's not it didn't exist. It was just no a mainstream term at the time. No, we called you a faggot or retard or nigger. Moore's understanding of who he could equate with what modern person would say to a non-binary is just he doesn't have the terminology for it. Oh, fuck off. He continued at the same time, they then was a concept for using as pronoun. Fuck off on that shit. Okay. Alright, I'm sick and tired. Okay, this is my soapbox moment. I am sick and tired of the fucking Troon Army butchering the they them thing. Okay. Using they them has always been valid in English. It has always been valid. When you don't know what they're fucking. If you don't know what's in their fucking pants, you call them they them. That's been there for like fucking centuries. Okay? That's not new. It's like you communist Marxist bullshits didn't come up with this. This has been the English rule forever. If you don't know what's in their pants, use the plural pronoun. This is basic English. Not basic mnemonics. Basic English. Fuck. As Carter shared, there are so many ways I identify it more. Fuck, I don't care anymore. I really don't. I'm done. I'm done. Okay. From one SJW nonsense to another SJW nonsense, we have Baldur's Gate 3 star doesn't care if you think he's woke. Neil Newbon, the man behind that Stern, and Baldur's Gate 3 cares deeply about the connection and representation, and he doesn't care if it makes him woke. So the gay twink vampire voice actor is a gay twink who doesn't care if you think he's a gay twink. News at 11. Baldur's Gate 3 has received plenty of praise for its alphabet soup representation. Neil Newbon happily champions the title's inclusivity. Newbon has one clear message for potential critics. If you think I'm woke, it doesn't make a difference to me. His comment was inspired by our discussion of sexuality in the world of Baldur's Gate 3. Newbon plays one of the RPG's romanceable companions to Roguish Vampire Astarion. When I gender identity, the player character smoosh their favorite Baldur's Gate 3 companions, and Newbon explains that Astarion is pansexual in the actual canon. Unless you're Tenma, who fails the romance mission. Hehe. Sorry, Michan. You failed. Newbon speaks highly of the game's alphabet representation. Games like Baldur's Gate 3, which has a niche but mainstream at the same time, normalizes sexuality and gender in a way that we may have seen quite so openly. He tells Wargamer a lot of games have done this, but the level of openness in Baldur's Gate 3 has expertly crafted hasn't been seen before on this level. Yes, clearly, fucking the bear has treaded new grounds. It's probably new grounds pouring on that the more I think about it. Ugh. In 7 months since the game's blockbuster launch, many people have told me about the positive effects of Astarion and other Baldur's Gate 3 characters have had on them. A lot of people found connections through the game and they didn't feel so alone, he tells Wargamer. That's one of the most beautiful experiences of my career. There have been small part of the game that allows so many to find strength and solace. Oh, you little fucking snowflake. Yeah, and he goes on to piss him on about being bullied online, and it's like, yeah, homophobia. It's like, wah. It's like fucking, look at that guy. Rocking the mustache. And the creepy look. Yeah, I can see him being a twink vampire. Yep, makes sense. So, again, it doesn't matter if it's like Sweet Baby Incorporated or like Validate or anything. I swear to God, they're all coming out of the woodwork all at once. I know I talk about artificial projections when it comes to reporting of incidents happening, mostly in terms of geology and stuff. But in this instance, it does seem like the Gamergate 2 really lit a fire under all these little twinks' asses. And it's just like, they're all just coming out of the woodwork and circling the fucking wagons. I swear to God. Oh, thank God, geology article saved me. Saved me before we get into proper clown world. That is to say, Zero Hedge. Okay, Texas takes a stand against radical ESG agenda. Texas bans state entities, including pensions, from investing roughly 350 funds that oppose fossil fuel investing. I wonder why. A growing number of red states are now pursuing similar legislation to boycott financial institutions over policies that appear to threaten their livelihoods, aka the stupid fucking what did they call it? Shareholder, not shareholder. Fuck, I forget the term now. Pretty much, effectively, it was fucking. God damn it! I'm having a brain fire right now. Activists investing, effectively, what it was. So, like I talked about how before, how there was a couple of firms that were trying to put the vote to like Exxon and them to like it's like shoot yourselves in the foot by denouncing your business, and of course the board of directors and presidents and CEOs and all were like, get fucked. We're going to sue you. Followers, underwriters, namely Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, JP Morgan, Chase, Bank of America, and Fidelity exited the market, leading to lower competition, barring higher borrowing costs. 3 years ago, Texas passed two laws in 2021 that restricted the state from doing business with companies that are deemed to be hostile to fossil fuels and firearm industries. Given how this is Texas, that kind of makes sense because those are two big businesses. So, if you're going to do business with somebody that hates you, like for example California, it's like that might be shooting yourself in the foot. So it's like what, just because I remember covering an article a while back of talking about San Francisco effectively did this, but the age-old adage: the red states. The blue states need the red states more than the red states need the blue states. So when San Francisco pulled this shit, they had to roll it back because they were losing money. And these guys, they just don't want to lose money, so they're not going to be retarded. Let's see, where was I? Two laws are just a handful of many new laws Republicans have been pushing to oppose environmental, social, and governance, aka ESG investing and financing. Many Republicans consider the screening of potential investments for the environmental and social impact as part of the left's effort to impose their own political views on the masses and have labeled ESG investing as anti-capitalist, which it is. ESG is just a hate factory. It's a factory for naming enemies. Republican mega donor Peter Thiel, peace be upon him, has declared while former Vice President Mike Pence has lamented the firms that have been pushing a radical ESG agenda. And the effects of those controversial laws are now being felt across the ESG universe because the whole thing is fucking imploding, and God bless. Texas has barred state entities, including pensions, from investing in roughly 350 funds that oppose fossil fuel investing, while other firms have been blacklisted from opposing firms. To wit, Republican-leaning state has banned the Wall Street behemoths BlackRock Incorporated, Citigroup Incorporated, Barclays PLC, and members of the Net Zero Banking Alliance. We've seen those assholes before. They're some of the people who tried to push their ESG bullshit on the Exxon, and Exxon wasn't having it, that have committed to financing ambitious climate action to transition the real economy to a net zero greenhouse gas emission by 2050. Just days ago, Texas Permanent School Fund terminated its contract with BlackRock to manage $8.5 billion of state money due to money managers' hardline stance on fossil fuel investments, costing taxpayers. The anti-ESG laws have also come at a considerable cost for the state of Texas and its residents. Five of the largest underwriters, namely Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Fidelity, exited the market shortly after the laws were enacted. As they don't let the door hit you on the way out, you're not going to be missed, leading to lower competition for lowering and higher borrowing costs. Well, that's again, it's like those guys exit the market and stuff, but they're going to become crawling back because again, this they're leaving all the money on the table, and it's just going to be too. It's going to be too tempting, and be like, that sweet oil money, that sweet Texan oil money and the firearms. Oh God, that's so much money. They're not going to be able to stay away from it. This is literally virtual signaling. That's all they're doing when they're leaving all this on the table. It's just virtual signaling. And it's going over how ESG is in decline. We've covered this before. Going over examples like the ExxonMobil Corp little coup they tried, which I mentioned before and have covered before. Same thing with BP. Been over this before. So I found it was kind of refreshing that there's more laws in the books from the Lone Star State and the purveyors of the ESG nonsense through hissy fit and left. I just find that funny. It's just funny. Okay. Oh my God. There's so many Edge articles. Why was it so busy? Okay, this is just a this is mostly repeating what I just read out on oil price. Let's see if there's anything new specifically from this one here. Okay, yeah. So this here is mostly covering how since Texas this is expanding the BlackRock portion of the previous article. Now this here goes into how BlackRock is hemorrhaging money right now. So they can't exactly afford losing an $8.5 million like basket of investments. Like the state of Texas told BlackRock to take a hike, and that's like fucking amazing. And of course, mostly this is because of their pension fund. And the fact they told BlackRock to take a hike, that means BlackRock is going to be in the red. Their books are going to be in the red for a while now because of that there. And of course, all those other companies left too. They got kicked out and left and stuff. So, but it's just so funny that it all comes back to BlackRock shooting itself in the foot in the long term. Larry, Lord and Savior of BlackRock, Larry Fink, trying to push his communist, globalist, nonsense, whatever you want to call it. The totalitarian nonsense that is Larry Fink's ESG scam, which has very much failed and continues to fail, and is going to probably have a large write-off in the coming term. Gonna happen to a bunch of nicer cucks. Okay, I talked about I made mention of this on the chatting stream, but this here needs to be talked about because it's so fucking retarded. It's just so fucking retarded. Wikipedia entry on the history of the chair becomes cultural war battleground. The simple Wikipedia entry about the history of the chair reveals how the site's far left editors desperately try to reframe the past in real time. Many such cases. But in this case, about the humble chair. The Wikipedia page describing the history of the chair initially reads, chairs are known from ancient Egypt and have been widespread in the Western world from the Greeks and Romans onwards. They were common in China from the 12th century and were used by the Aztecs. In sub-Saharan Africa, chairs were not used before the introduction by Europeans. I'm sure you can probably point out where the point of contention is for the leftists, but we should expand upon that. Oh boy. In other words, basic historical fact cannot be amended if some demented shitlib gets offended by it. The page now is going back and forth with people re-adding the true history and then having it removed again by the leftist moderators. So it's going back and forth between the sub-Saharan Africa portion of it, because again, there's not bigotry of low expectations. All the people making these edits are just white upper class yuppies. Let's see. Apparently, progressives are desperately. God damn, is there a hedge? I love you sometimes, but fuck. Are desperately trying to maintain some Wakanda-like idealized version of sub-Saharan Africa, where it's more advanced than the Western civilization, or Black Vikings, or Black KKK members. We all remember the Gemini AI nonsense. But again, this whole history-changing thing existed long before that, and of course, it's going to exist long after this here too, because if they're not going to leave the chairs alone, then where will they stop? Dun dun dun. The current Wikipedia entry maintains the original history, although for how long remains to be seen. Billions of people around the world still think Wikipedia is impartial, but thinks Wikipedia, I can't say that was very first. When, in fact, it's the subject to extremist control. If this is happening to a page about the history of the chair, imagine how many countless other examples of it there are on Wikipedia. As we previously highlighted, Wikipedia co-founder Larry Sanger blasted the site for its slide to leftist propaganda, accusing of it long since abandoning impartiality and simply becoming an amplifier for mainstream news narratives. Wikipedia made a real effort for neutrality for, I would say, the first 5 years or so, says Anchor, adding, and then it began a long slow slide to what I would call leftist propaganda. Yep, no argument there. Wikipedia is run by around 125,000 volunteer editors, mostly lefties, and the vast majority who are leftists, with a further 1,000 administrators who enjoy special privileges to block others who go against the grain. We've seen this here before. I just think it's so fucking retarded because it's like the chair. Because they're upset that the chair wasn't invented by the kings. This is what they're taking issue with. It's so fucking funny. It took the evil colonizing Europeans to bring the concept of the chair to the darkies. And this fucking infuriates them. Oh, God damn it, scrolling. Chair. Okie dokie. I covered this cunt and her husband a while back. Long story short is that these assholes work for the Canadian Biolab and they stole a bunch of shit and shipped it back to a bunch of samples and research back to the Chinese Communist Party. They got caught, kicked out. And now, CCP-linked virologist fired after transferring Ebola from Winnipeg to Wuhan resurfaces in China and is collaborating with military scientists. Okay, the foreseen this fucking thing coming. Certainly not CSIS. Virologist who had a clandestine relationship with Chinese agents and was subsequently fired by the Trudeau government, who was also hired by the Trudeau government, has popped up back in China, where she is conducting research with the Chinese military scientists and other virology researchers, including at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where she allegedly studying antibodies for coronavirus as well as the deadly Ebola and knife. I remember hearing it pronounced that way. I'm probably wrong. Viruses, the Globe and Mail reports. So his brother and her husband were Chinese spies the entire time, so it surprised no one. But then again, China is bought and paid for by China, so what can you do? Go over the case we covered before. All the points. Okay, yeah, so here's the new stuff. Documents reviewed by the Globe shows that Dr. Q is most closely aligned with the University of Science and Technology of China and Hefei. In March 2023, a document posted by a Chinese pharmaceutical company listed Dr. Q as second among major completion personnel on a project awarded the Chinese Preventive Medicine Association for a study related to anti-Ebola virus therapeutic antibody. Most of the other completion personnel were associated with the Chinese People's Liberation Army. And I'll say this again for the people in the back who never listen. If you do anything in China, you are answering to someone in the government. Okay, they still have fucking officers for every single business, and everything answers to the party, including the military. Okay? Why I still have to tell this to people I don't know. China is not as free as you think it is. In fact, it's not. It's the opposite. USDC was founded by Chinese Academy of Sciences, initially established to build up Chinese scientific expertise useful to the military, which at the time was pursuing technology to build satellites, intercontinental ballistic missiles, and atomic bombs. University has continued to maintain close military ties, as with everything else. And it just goes on and on for the receipts of saying what she's up to, and just pretty much all the work she's been doing, her and her husband have been doing since they got back to China. To the surprise of no one, that they were, just come here and nick off with everything, with everything that isn't nailed down, and they got caught, so they went back, and they're a lot of those heroes. What a shock. Fuck them. Oh, thank you, my favorite telenovela. Give me a break from all the stupid retardation. Another bite at the fanny. Judge grants Trump request to appeal district attorney disqualification decision. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee has granted former President Donald Trump request for a certificate of immediate review, allowing former President and 7 co-defendants to appeal the judge's order denying the disqualification of Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis, aka this one. We've been covering Fannie Willis for a while now. This is just the latest incident of the ongoing Telenova series on Telemundo. The certificate of immediate review filed on March 20th at the Superior Court of Fulton County, Georgia, allows President Trump's 7 co-defendants to seek an appeal from the Georgia Court of Appeals, which has the discretion to accept or decline to hear the case. Jack McAfee has issued a certificate of immediate review, allowing us to take our motion to disqualify Fannie Willis directly to the Georgian Courts of Appeals. David Schaefer, former chairman of Georgia Republican Party and one of the 7 co-defendants, said in Post Next, formerly known as Twitter, commenting on the judge's decision. Beside Mr. Schaefer, the co-defendants who can appeal judge's disqualification ruling are Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, Robert Geely, Michael Rowan, Harrison Floyd, and Kathleen Latham. All of them have joined the initial motion to disqualify Ms. Willis and later joined the motion for a certificate of immediate review. The request for immediate review filed on March 18 by Steve Zell, attorney to President Trump, stems from Judge McAfee's decision to allow Ms. Willis to remain in a high-profile case which the former president is accused of election interference. Again, and I need to remind people, this was one of the better cases that the Democrats have of getting Trump before the election. And considering how this is falling apart at the seams and the glorious fireball, yeah, I have a feeling they're not going to do too good on that. Just a thought. No. So yeah, the order got issued and it's going to go around for review. Blah blah blah. I don't know. It'd be kind of nice if we just immediately get dismissed. But this has been going on for so long right now. I just imagine it's going to roll right up until election time unless something. I mean, there's so many ways she could get kicked out by now and stuff, but they're running interference for her. And it's just so fucking interesting. Again, I refer to it as the Telenova for a reason. Where's my mute button? I'm here above my nose. Where? No, not soundboard. Oh, God. Sonar. Non-stream. Thankfully, I haven't hit the soundboard yet. Microphone. Mute. I had hit all the buttons for mute. My God. See it peaking in the red now. That's not good. Test. Nope, still red. I'm sure someone will yell at me. Test. I'm gonna have to tweak the streamer mode version of this. Don't like it peeking in the red. Don't trust it. Okay, where was I? Restricting freedoms may be necessary to fight climate change. German Ethics Council. Where was the German Ethics Council back in the day? The government may be forced to limit the available choices for citizens in order to battle predicted devastating consequences of climate change. That's the message of the opinion titled Climate Justice. Oh, we are in for a treat. on March 13th by the German Ethics Council. Seems like a bit of a misnomer, that one. In the opinion of the Ethics Council, a board of expert advisors established by German law recommends actions to be taken by corporations, individuals, and the government to ensure the effects of climate change do not unjustly burden those who are not so well off. Oh, fuck off! Just fuck off! Just fuck off, you fucking globalist pieces of shit. But again, it's a German, so I can just call them Nazis. Because let's not care ourselves, that never went away. Let's see, let's pull out the main points. Yeah, so I just like, on the grounds of justice, it can be morally required to contribute to measure to tackle climate change if one's own existence of freedom interferes in an unjust manner with the freedoms and welfare of others or future generations, for example, through consumption that is harmful to the climate. The authorities may intervene in restriction of freedom. Brown shirts 2.0, Stasi 2.0. While opinion states the Ethics Council is opposed to suspending democratic freedoms processes to reach the desired climate goals, then how are you going to enforce it? The group says as long as it follows the government provides supportive framework conditions, there we are. On which individuals can, as we say to the kids, make good decisions. Or else. Distinction must be made between growth in countries of the global south that are catching up on development and further growth, the consumption of resources used to industrialize countries and appropriate compensatory payments must be negotiated. Fuck off. No reparations shit. So, again, this is like unelected busybodies making life worse for everyone and trying to justify the crackdowns for thought crimes and you will live in the pods and you will eat the bugs. Yes, my Führer. I shall eat the bugs. Sure. Where the fuck am I at? Okay, there we go. And I'm not looking forward to one of the articles coming up because of my blood pressure. Okay, and until then, there has been no increase as scientists debunk climate change claims about hurricanes. I'm just going to summarize this because I've covered this a million times. The long and short of it is that the climate death cult doomsayers are always saying like, oh, the weather is worse, hurricanes are worse, tornadoes are worse. But the reality of the matter is, the fact of the matter is we're back into an El Nino system. Before it was El Nino, aka the energy system. Now we're in El Nino, aka the lack of energy system. So right now, hurricanes are less and less powerful and less big, and that's what the data shows. But don't let like Al Gore, don't let Al Gore tell you because he'll say it's the end of the world, but it's not. And this is coming from like the climate death cult information source, the National Geographic Association themselves. So like even them trying to massage the numbers, they can't. Like they can massage as much as they can, but they can't bullshit reality away as much as they want to. And the fact of the matter is, like I said, and they say here is like we've transitioned over to a La Nina. A little bit higher than normal hurricane. Let's see, currently transition. Subsurface temperatures much cooler during El Nino to the above times. The immediate near surface temperatures still warmer, but the subsurface water pool and warm water has dissipated, and so once that pops to the surface, it becomes La Nina. Cohen says. He expects we'll hear a lot more alarmist messaging if 2024 is busy hurricane season as predicted, but like Mr. Cohen says hurricanes are getting bigger, more intense. He says that temperatures naturally warm coming out of the little ice age hurricanes and the weather events will get less intense, not exponentially worse. Because basic physics and temperature, I've covered this. I've covered energy systems before. It's basic physics and stuff. Like they'll try to massage the numbers to sell you the doomsday thing so you drink the flavor aid, but the fact of the matter is, it's kind of business as usual, and even then, it's kind of going down to a minimum in terms of harsh weather frequencies because, again, we're in El Nino now. So, blah, 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 blah. And talking about how they're trying to sell you the green grift by using fear. Covered this before. So, I don't know. Kind of, again, as I said, it's shit we've seen before, but again, I'll mention it as many times as needed because that's just the way it is. Oh, good. Oh, this one. Oh, this one. Okay. I'm going to have 2 back-to-back articles for my blood pressure, so thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers for Grandpa Godzilla's blood pressure. Family of black girl who beat schoolmate to near death says she's the real victim. Starts a GoFundMe. The family of the black girl who beat the schoolmate to near death in Missouri says she's the real victim was merely defending herself against bullying and raising money for legal defense. Yes, the one who put another classmate in a fucking coma is the real victim here, who fired a fucking chimp out with all her chimp mates. Yes. Video footage shows Savage being a student from Hazelwood East High School, which left Kaylee Gain fighting for her life with skull fracture, brain bleeding, and damage to her frontal lobe. But according to Maurice DeClue family, who started change.org petition, the clip where the assailant repeatedly slams the victim's head against the concrete ground actually shows DeClue defending herself from harassment and bullying. I like to have what she's smoking. The petition claims the 15-year-old has never been in trouble and that her work as a scholar was tainted by the bullying she had under school. Yes, clearly a case of bullying where she fucking chimped out and smashed someone's skull on the ground repeatedly. Yes, clearly. Clearly the mark of a bully. Family urging Chief Juvenile Officer Rick Gaines of the 21st Circuit Court not to charge Maurice as an adult, even though it's pretty much attempted murder, let's be real, because she was merely defending herself under intense flight versus fight circumstances. They also started a GoFundMe campaign to raise money, asking the public for $150,000, but it was rightly shut down within hours because you can't do this. You can't raise legal money in GoFundMe. Someone obviously didn't get the memo. Hazelwood East High School is made up of 96.7% black. Oh, I pity that 1.4% white students after this. But apparently the game was a real bully. Yes. So, fuck this cunt. Fuck this cunt and fuck her family, and I hate them. Not racist, just hate them. And now for the one that really, I need a drink of water. Wait. Skip one. Skip a couple. That's not the one. This is the one. Okay, I talked about the alphabet soup trying to make literal train dinosaurs. I think the last time it was like the British National History Museum, and this one here is museum claims dinosaurs have alphabet soup history and birds are queer. Oh god, it is Britain again. Fuck. Museum in Britain has claimed that some birds are queer and that the history of animal queerness has been hidden from the public. Or, they're making this shit up. Hastings Museum and Art Gallery is running an alphabet soup history exhibition funded by the Arts Council of England, which claims that some birds are queer because they change their sex from female to male. The Telegraph notes that the claims about birds such as pheasants are completely unfounded and have no scientific basis. And the reason shall be explained here. The exhibition in association with the group called... Okay, I'm not going to go for this made-up nonsense. I'm going to explain the bird thing. The bird thing is that birds on and off mating season will have hormone swings that'll cause them to like lose feathers or change feather colors and stuff. And these mental midgets take this as a sign that instead of just having a hormone imbalance out of breeding season, equates to being like a different gender. That's the reach that these idiots are going for. That's all it comes down to it. And they're trying to transition that no pun intended, transition that to actually equate that to well, dinosaurs are just birds, so that must mean by my flawed logic that they're doing the same thing. That's their train of thought for this year. And it's just so fucking stupid. It's like, leave the kids alone, leave the old people alone, leave the fucking dinosaurs alone. They've been dead for millions of years. Just fuck off. Oh god, I was talking about like Greek gods and some other like made up nonsense and stuff. It's just so fucking. I like lying about Jurassic Park. It's just so fucking stupid. I gotta move on. Where was it? Turns out we have a deep state and it's awesome. It's not. After years of, this is like the age-old meme of like, it never happened, and if it did, it didn't happen that much. And if it did happen that much, they deserved it, and it was great. It's literally that meme. After years of denials, mainstream media has decided to admit deep state does exist, and apparently it's awesome. At least according to the new video from the New York Times. Of course, it's the fucking New York Times. Turns out deep state is actually kind of awesome. The video itself is a 6-minute straw man presenting interviews with rocket scientists as if genuinely think that's what people mean when they refer to the deep state, then piling on insanely manipulative attempts at humanize the concept of deep state by talking about these guys' hobbies and interests. It's cheesy and flippant about every bit as cringe as it sounds. Let's state the obvious. When we talk about deep state, we're not talking about people protecting children from exploitation in Chicago. We're not talking about the honorable Star Trek fans building life-saving rockets. And the New York Times video production team knows this as well as we do. We're talking about the corrupt military and intelligence agencies with ties to big business who actually control the government using elected, air quotes, politicians as act puppets. And it just goes on and on. We know how we know what the deep state is, and we know how it works. But the main point to draw from this here is that they're trying to gaslight us to saying that deep state's a good thing after like a decade of saying it doesn't exist. It's kind of sad if I'm being completely honest. I don't know if it's more sad that they're trying it. I know a bunch of dumbass motherfuckers are going to believe it. Left from column A, left from column B. So, yeah, okay, yeah, they actually spell it. Okay, verbatim the meme. That doesn't happen, and everyone who says it does is a conspiracy theorist. That happens sometimes, but it's very rare. That should actually happen more. That is happening a lot, and it's a good thing. We currently are here. People who don't like this happening are the problem. That's what we have number 5 to look forward to. Yep. We're literally living out the meme. I went off this ride. Okay, getting back to that gender science one I had open earlier. Gender science was merely an ideology all along. The devil, you say? Yeah, okay, so this is kind of a springboard from when the England's National Health Service decided to no longer give carte blanche to gender reassignment surgeries and hormones to kids, which was a good thing. And of course, all the usual suspects threw shit fit over that, which we covered. And it's kind of coming out in the wash that and I quote, there is not enough evidence to support the safety or clinical effectiveness to make the treatment routinely available at this time. Wow. Yeah, it was a bitch. Ain't it? Yeah, I also covered when the premier of Alberta passed the law for all these here to restrict all this nonsense. So that was good. So it's going over the So this is mostly an essay. I'm not going to go over it because we covered parts and pieces of this over the months. Uh, but it's mostly going into the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, like the main purveyors of this nonsense stuff. Like even their own internal like numbers. Like I remember covering this here too. Their own internal numbers like uh, don't justify their own bullshit. So, when the guys promoting all this can't exactly justify it themselves, of course, the support for it falls apart, which is a good thing, but unfortunately, all the damage has already been done for a lot of these kids. So I hope in the just world that most of these assholes get lynched. Not gonna hold my breath, but, things can happen. For legal reasons, that was a joke. To my handler who's listening. Yeah, it's a good read, but it's mostly stuff we covered before. But again, as I said before, the tide is turning. It's just going to be slow and steady. Okay, so this is like 4 years too late, but hey, if you want to look for signs of the tide is turning, FDA settles ivermectin case, agrees to remove controversial stop at post. Because, the post in question back in the day was, "You're not a horse, stop taking this medicine," which is stepping above and beyond the FDA's legal mandates, in that they can't, the FDA legally can't tell a doctor what to do, even though that's exactly what they did during the pandemic, and now they're trying to walk it back, saying, "Oopsie." So like like the BP South Park thing, South Park joke of like, sorry. It's like, no, never forget, never forget. These assholes want you dead. Fuck them. But it's kind of nice even seeing them. As small as it seems small and insignificant but for them to even eat this, eat crow like this here, that's something. And this is something to be commended. That they're getting their shit kicked in, and that's that's good. So, yeah, that's pretty much all it comes down to, is that they have to take down the post now, and even more important than them taking down the Twitter post of saying you're not a horse and don't take the ivermectin. This is going to give a lot, because the court system. There's a lot of cases working through the court system right now of doctors who got effectively reprimanded for doing the right thing and giving their patients proper treatment, but they got raked through the coals by the FDA and a lot of different doctor governing organizations and stuff. And there's a lot of court cases working their way through the system right now. And it's shit like this here that gives their lawyers, fuel for the fire to help their cases. And, this is good. So, baby steps. A little white pill here, a little white pill there. It balances out the clown world. Okay. This is okay. I love Brandon Smith at allmarket.us. Go subscribe and read this guy. He has really good essays, and I'm going to try to do my best to. I'm not going to read the entirety of this essay, but I'm going to try my best to summarize it. The long and short, and takeaway of this here essay is that modern feminism exists because men allow it. And it's not a patriarchal, like, we're keeping the women down kind of thing. It's like, no, it's because men build civilizations and women maintain the civilizations, but they maintain the civilizations because we allow them to. Because if men were not around, they would have to do all the men work, and of course they wouldn't be able to because they're not men, and thus the whole system would fall apart. Again, it's the age-old thing of it takes two to tango. but they don't appreciate they don't like these feminists and let's be real, these communists, they don't appreciate what they have because they've had it too good for too long. I've said this a million times, and that goes for everyone. We've had it too good for too long, and we don't appreciate the things we have anymore. And in this particular essay is going specifically, women don't appreciate men because without men, they're done. All the perceived power that women have is because men allow it. And this is even goes back in the day for the old timey concept of the woman leveraged her sexual power over a man, but that was in terms of getting the man's power. She did not have it herself. She had to leverage. At the end of the day, she still has to leverage the man's power to get the things done. Is what it gets to, and this transitions over into modern era of like the first, second, and third wave feminist movements. Of they were just allowed to happen in just that they were allowed to happen because men for the most part didn't care or they were sympathetic to their causes. But at the end of the day, it was allowed because of men, and this is the thing I agree with. It's not this patriarchal or chauvinistic. It is called just reality. Men are the builders, women are the maintainers. That's just the way it is. Remove all the men, the women are going to die. Remove all the women, the men are going to die. It goes both ways. But at least there's enough men who recognize the reality of it. But these dumb cunts don't, because they got fed the flavor egg since day one. In that they're strong, independent women who don't need no man. It's like snap, snap. It's just like, and it goes over a bunch of case studies of survival experiments and business experiments of all female business people, and military examples and stuff, and it just does not work. Like the girl power fantasy does not work, and that's all this essay is. It's a really good read. Oh, this one. Okay, I like this one. Emissions are not a material risk to investor or companies. SEC's climate disclosure rule is. The Security Exchange Commission has added again, straying from its core mission of protecting investors, maintaining fair, orderly and effective markets, and facilitating capital formation. The SEC is now taking the mantle of climate activism. Chairman Gary Gensler's signature policy, the climate disclosure rule, was just approved in the partisan 3-2 vote. Companies will now have to, this is important, companies will now have to disclose direct or indirect emissions that they produce to investors. This rule, in the guise of informing investors that material risk in companies, will overwhelm investors with information that is unrelated to actual risk of the company's performance. Now, what does this mean? This means that if your company, this is how stupid it's going to be. If your company so much as has like a company truck or something, you have to make a report on that in your financial statements. And this is useless information for an investor. So the whole ESG, green investing, all that nonsense and stuff. Again, a lot of these things are like monolithic boats. You have to think about a lot of these companies monolithic boats. Even though BlackRock is not doing ESG anymore, they're just rebranding as Bridge and stuff. But the fact of the matter is, the crackdown, the money's gone, and the crackdowns are coming, legally speaking. And but it's going to take a while for it to work through the systems. And in this case, the stupid climate nonsense stuff is on the guise of green, quote unquote, green investing. But as it hints at the beginning and stuff, this has absolutely nothing to do when it comes to making informed decisions for investing, because it is useless garbage, as we've covered like a million times at this point, of all this, climate death cult nonsense. And I imagine that this here ruling is, I imagine it, mark my words, this ruling is going to come back and bite the SEC in their fucking ass. I'm calling it right now. So this is kind of like a preview of where things are going to go for that. So like, just mark on your calendars. We're going to be hearing about this here ruling, law coming into effect from the SEC. We're going to be hearing about this again repeatedly in the future. Mark my words. Speaking of the climate nonsense, the Hertz meltdown reveals the scale of EV debacle. The Biden administration's Environmental Protection Agency has revealed its ambition to phase out gas-powered cars in favor of electric vehicles. Incredible, this announcement comes as we are flooded with overwhelming evidence the EVs are a market loser. We've covered this a million times at this point. So, the green bubble's bursted and all the money is gone. Like, for example, in this case, like Hertz, the guy who was in charge with Hertz, he recently got let go. Or did he let go? I forget. I'm kind of mixing my companies in my brain now. I forget exactly, but long story short, what Hertz is that they electrified a lot of their fleet. This was when the bubble popped. They're trying to unload their EV fleet, but the market's bubble burst, so no one's buying, and they're flooding the markets, which is devaluing what's available there anyway. And we've been over that. And it's going over a bunch of other examples of reasons why a lot of people aren't into EVs. We covered like the battery stuff, but I like a couple of these other points. Like, for example, the surveillance. They're pretty much all digital computerized cars, so they can track you where you're going and they can shut you down if you fail a payment and all that stuff, and a bunch of other shit. But again, we covered it before. We're running out of steam, but we still got a few more to go. Biden, the censorship regime, blocks media access at the border over embarrassing invasion video to attract the nation. So a few days ago, there was this big push at the border, and a bunch of guards literally got yeeted out of the way when the massive migrants just barreled through the gate. And that made the Biden administration look bad, because it's like, we have a strong and robust border. Yeah, sure you do there, buddy. But it looks like they're cracking down on not actually the border being full of holes like Swiss cheese. They're cracking down on the media reporting on it, which is funny because they've been doing that for a while now, but it looks like they're doubling down on making sure that the media is like members of the media, please stay off the ramp and away from the sliding gate. Do not disrupt U.S. border patrol operations by being in the way of transportation vehicles. Do not attempt to make contact with migrants unless authorized by U.S. border officials. Please refer all inquiries to U.S. Border Patrol Public Affairs Office. And it's just like, they really got a big sign on it. Now, whether that's going to be enforced, I don't know, but it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny to see that, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil kind of thing going on at the border, because they just don't want you to know in the election season, during an election season of like a major political issue. It's just so fucking blatant. Expanding upon the slow but steady pendulum swing in the other direction, New York high schoolers stage walkout protest against transgender agenda. High school students in New York high school staged a massive walkout protest this week in opposition to the district's attempts to force them to share restrooms with the opposite gender in the name of transgender acceptance. So exactly what it says on the tin. A bunch of kids staged a walkout protest, and apparently they took issue with this year because it wasn't an approved walkout. So it's okay when you protest. It's okay when you protest anything, that's approved by the Democratic Party. But if you do your own thing and have a real grassroots protest and stuff, that's a no-no. It's the age-old joke I always make of like, it's like workers of the world unite. No, not like that, kind of thing. Let's see. Yeah, so it's like an age story of like tranny being in a girls' locker room, making the girls feel uncomfortable. Of course, they actually got the kids to rise up and unify. Protest. And of course, the school is not having any of it and stuff, and it's kind of cracking down on that. So I don't know. It seems like it seems like they lost control of their little monsters, and I'm all for it. It's just it makes me it fills my cold black heart with hope for the next generation that they're not willing to put up with bullshit. Coming back to Japanese mRNA shit. Japanese preprint calls for mRNA vaccines to be suspended over blood-brain contamination concerns. Oh, goodness gracious! Who could have foreseen this coming? It's the AIDS blood bank issue all over again. Who could have seen this coming? Receiving blood transfusion from COVID-19 vaccinated individuals could pose a medical risk to unvaccinated recipients since numerous adverse events are being reported among vaccinated people worldwide, according to a recent study from Japan. The preprint review published on March 15 examined whether receiving blood from COVID-19 vaccinated individuals is safe or poses a health risk. Many nations have reported that mRNA vaccine usage has resulted in post-vaccination thrombosis and subsequent cardiovascular damage, among other things. We've covered a million of these at this point, as well as a variety of diseases involving all organs and systems, including the nervous system, etc. And pretty much what it goes down to is that, since we're encountering all these issues right now, like, there's no hiding it anymore. With all these gene therapy issues resulting from the experimental gene therapy that was the COVID-19 quote-unquote vaccine. And since a lot of people got it, and it's a lot of people actually donate to the blood bank system and stuff, and if this year transfusion blood can result in new issues in people who didn't get the vaccine, oh boy, this is a legal nightmare. This kind of scary and stuff. Like, for example, say someone like me who never got the gene therapy ends up in an accident, and I do a blood transfusion. I get a blood transfusion for someone who got vaxxed to hell, and I end up developing a condition and stuff. That's kind of scary, isn't it? It can happen to you too. So, shit like this, you might want. It should like this here where it's going to be like, we're going to have warning labels on, gene therapy blood. I can see this coming. Mark my words. Quote me on this one. We're going to be seeing shit like that. Unless you're in California, then you can give people AIDS without any recompense. So, what the fuck do I know? Oh god. Okay, we're back to Fannie Willis again, but this one here is pretty funny. Willis versus Willis. Fulton County District Attorney goes head to head with her prior self in Trump case. This is funny. Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis has finally broken her silence with CNN. Willis insisted she has done nothing wrong while declaring that the train is coming for Donald Trump. On this occasion, CNN can be excused for not having an opposing view. Willis circa 2020 denounced Willis circa 2024. Willis told CNN reporter, "I don't feel like my reputation needs to be reclaimed. I guess my greatest crime is that I had a relationship with a man That's not something I find embarrassing in any way, and I know that I've not done anything that's illegal. The most obvious person to interview in rebuttal of that statement is Willis's 2020 self. After all, she repeatedly declared that she would not have any romantic relationships with those in her office. Because Willis ran against her former boss, Paul Howard, who was embroiled in a sexual harassment scandal involving his relationship with women in his office. Willis offered both experience and ethical leadership, including pledging repeatedly that I will certainly not be choosing to date people that work under me. Ha! 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 When confronted with this repeated campaign promise on the stand, Willis came up with a perfectly bizarre spin about Nathan Wade being literally special as a special prosecutor. While she hired him, supervised him, and controlled his continued employment with the office, she tried to suggest that he was not really part of the office at the same sense. Willis noticeably stressed that she did nothing illegal. She did not address whether she actually acted unethically. The court itself denounced her for unprofessional conduct in this controversy, including her speech at a church suggesting that racism was behind these allegations. We covered that one too. Moreover, it may be too early to tell if she genuinely feels free of criminal allegations. Many believe that both she and Wade gave knowingly false or misleading testimony. That is a problem not just for them as individuals, but for their office in the case. Willis and Wade were both prosecuting people for the very same conduct for filing false statements with courts and making false statements. The two lawyers testified in tandem that only one was disqualified. While the court cast doubts on Wade's testimony on the relationship, it ignored that Willis effectively ratified those claims in her own testimony. We covered that already. Excuse me. Putting aside the pledge of a train coming for Trump, there's a problem that there's usually two tracks and our train may be coming for Willis as the state and potentially the bar looks into these allegations. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. JFL says transgender athletes don't hurt anyone. Former volleyball player disagrees. A former high school girls volleyball player who was injured in the game by an opponent identifying as transgender is calling out a Democrat congresswoman who claims that having a transgender athlete in female sports doesn't hurt anyone. So, long story short, yet again, another girl got injured from competing against a man pretending to be a woman, and this cunt, Democrat Washington. Here's her take. Apparently, she has a trans kid, and since she has a trans kid, that makes her an authority on the matter. And the girls actually having to deal with this on the ground, like the boots on the ground, as it were. Their experiences don't matter because, again, in clown world, women are second-class citizens to men. And this includes men who are pretending to be women. Peyton McNabb, a 19-year-old from North Carolina, was struck in the face by a male who identifies as transgender at her varsity high school volleyball match in September 2022. The male knocked McNabb unconscious in a spike move intended to hit the ball in the game. The incident forced McNabb to spend months recovering from headaches and concentration problems. She also missed the remainder of the volleyball season. Ms. McNabb says she suffers from neck injury, concussion, lasting vision impairment, and partial paralysis in the right side of her body, as well as mental anguish. And again, you're going to be hearing a lot more of this until the knives come out and the pitchforks and the torches come out for all these assholes who are running interference for this madness. And this is going to be one of them with their head on a pitch on a spike. Probably not too in future, considering what happened to his, young lady. And going on and on, how this cunt made a protection bill for stuff, and it's just like it's just also tiring. Yeah, I like this. Democrats oppose women protection bill. The lawsuit comes as House Resolution 7187, formerly called Protection of Women in Olympic and Amateur Sports Act, advances out of committee and went to the full House for a vote. We covered this a while back. So hopefully that there continues to make its way through, but whether it has any teeth, if it does make it all the way through, remains to be seen. Fingers crossed. So, it's also tiring. Oh, God, this one. Oh, God. Okay. Germany, 5 Pakistani family members arrested after setting fire to their own home and blaming Nazis. Long story short, a bunch of Pakis elected to commit insurance fraud and went the full mile and said effectively, like foreigners, like sprayed a bunch of foreigners out, Nazi imagery and stuff like that, and then torch their house. But unfortunately for them, the dad got caught with a bunch of burns, and the cops were like, "Hey, where'd you get those burns?" And then the jig was up. So it's you know they imported all these people, and they say it would have been good for the country. And you hear shit like this where they commit arson and insurance fraud. So and under the guise of a fake hate crime too. So you're hitting all the check marks. It's just like, wow, Jesse Smollett would be proud. Oh, excuse me. I was there. Oh, in news that we all saw coming. I mean, shit, a blind man saw it coming. Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun plans to step down following 737 MAX crisis. As there's aviation mishaps, including the door plug that ripped off the Alaskan Airlines Boeing 737 MAX jet earlier this year, and other 737 and 777 incidents in recent weeks, coupled with the intensified oversight from federal regulatory bodies. Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun is stepping down at the end of the year. Yeah, this is just going over his statement to saying he's stepping down, but of course, no one's really surprised. But what's kind of a little surprising is that immediately when the news comes out that he's stepping down, the stock goes up, but nowhere near the old highs. So I find this funny, and here's the entire thing in its entirety. If you want to go read it, I have links everywhere in the news Discord. It's just I saw it's coming. This was only a matter of time, so it's happened. Is Boeing going to make a big turnaround? God no, no. It's going to take a lot more than getting rid of the head guy. Okay, this one gave me a chuckle. A video shows Vice President Kamala Harris clapping along the song during her visit to Puerto Rico before being told that the song is actually a protest against her. To which she stopped clapping and then just nodded like the goddamn idiot that she is. And a reminder, this is the second person in line for the U.S. presidency. If Biden drops, this chuckle shit is one in charge. If this doesn't keep you up at night, you're not paying attention. Yeah, so that's all there is to that one, really. She was just visiting for a photo op, and then like a little mini protest happens, and I just find it funny that her aide had to tell her what they were saying. Yeah, it's just so fucking stupid. They're saying like Kamala Harris is a war criminal. We want to know, Kamala, where did you come here for? Long live free Palestine, Haiti too. We want to know what you think of the colony. It's just like fucking rag on her. It's just fucking hilarious, man. Okay, two more and we're done. Why is the National Guard being deployed during the Great American Eclipse on April 8th? Good question. Why is the National Guard being deployed at subway stations in New York? Why is National Guard being mobilized for many things right now? But again, it comes down to this one here is really interesting. It's like, why are they being mobilized for the solar eclipse? Is there something that's going to happen during the solar eclipse? Maybe there's some glowy gay ops being planned. Maybe. Again, that's all it's coming down to is like, it's like the fact that they're mobilizing it for something largely inconsequential and harmless and stuff. It kind of glows. It kind of glows. So take heed. Take heed, burgers. Something's going to go down. Or they're going to try to have something go down. All right, last one. Hysterical Harvard protesters throw a fit over concert by Israeli singer. Exactly what it says. A concert by Israeli singer closed Harvard's campus, triggered an anti-Israel protest. Funny how the what am I looking for? The inquiries made by Congress to the Ivy League presidents of like, so what are you guys doing for anti-Semitism at your campuses? And how they answered nothing, and a couple ended up getting fired, and Jews pulling out a lot of their money out of Ivy Leagues. Oh, and then shit like this happens. Yeah, so long story short, yeah, an Israeli singer comes to do a concert, and of course, a bunch of protesting happens. The usual cancel culture bullshit they tried. So it's just like, I'm wondering if I woke up again in 2016, because again, all this shit is times the flat circle is all this shit happening again. You know, like Gamergate's happening again. Fucking college canceling is happening again. It's just like, it's also tiring, dude. Get new material. Boo. Get off stage. Okay, so. I had a long day. I had to travel out of town for my cardiologist appointment. And one thing I can say, I fucking hate running stress tests. Fuck, I hate doing stress tests. But fortunately, my ticker is doing good, so I'm only up to a year and a half in between appointments now instead of just having it once a year, which is good. So, doing good health-wise. And tomorrow, allegedly, question mark, I'm going to be doing a collab with Denna. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know details. My plan initially is to we're going to stream our own things and just shoot the shit. If she has anything else in on mind, I don't know. But I'll post when we're going live, and as more details come to light, and we'll go pick on the goat tomorrow. So that's that. So thanks for coming. Take it easy. Later.